This is Mr. Galison, William Galison. Mr. Galison. See, you got a whole bunch of papers this time. You learned.
Yes, I did. And I learned. All right.
You know, evidence has to count for something.
That's right. Here's, this is really
Just give me
big.
a name again, sir.
I'm sorry, William Galison, G-A-L-I-S-O-N. And thank you, Senator Lisa Lashley. Nice to meet you. I have two documents that I'm going to present here. They're not overly long, and I will skip anything that's not relevant to this conversation. This is a letter that I sent to the Commission on Judicial Nomination on January 24th, on November 20th, before these 7 nominees were chosen. And it's addressed to all members of the State of New York Commission on Judicial Nomination. It was received, I was assured, by the Secretary at the Commission that all of it was distributed to all, 13, 14 members of that Commission. And I'll read from it. It says, "Notice of improprieties and negligence by Judge Jonathan Lippman and apparent corrupt influence on a member of the Judicial Nomination Commission." Synopsis. "My organization has compiled overwhelming evidence of official misconduct and other improprieties by Judge Jonathan Lippman." Now, keep in mind, this is long before he was even nominated, let alone selected. Judge Lippman has also ignored and/or abetted systematic corruption in the First Appellate Division, some committed for the benefit of lawyers with intimate ties to a member of the Judicial Nomination Commission, Gerald B. Lefcourt. Judge Lippman's improprieties must be investigated before he is nominated. Mr. Lefcourt must be removed from the Commission on the basis of conflict of interest. Dear members, I am a co-founder of the organization Integrity of the Courts. In the courts, a group composed of victims of judicial corruption who dedicate their time and efforts to exposing and remediating New York State's notoriously corrupt judiciary. Our members include a 6-year veteran staff attorney from the First Departmental Disciplinary Committee who was fired for whistleblowing and has a federal suit pending against the DDC and the First Appellate Division. We also have affidavits endorsing our efforts from a sitting Supreme Court judge and a retired justice of 21 years on the bench. The Judicial Nomination Commission has been entrusted with the solemn responsibility of choosing nominees for the highest judicial position in the state. The Chief Judge is not only the final arbiter of judicial matters in the state, he is also ultimately accountable for the behavior of every member of the judiciary that serves beneath him, and his ethics set the standards for the entire judiciary. Members of my organization possess overwhelming evidence that one of the nominees selected by the Commission, Judge Jonathan Lippman, falls far short of the ethical standards required by the Office of Chief Judge. This letter describes one example of abuse by the First Departmental Appellate Division under Judge Lippman's supervision. What my colleagues and I...
Ms. Galison.
Yes.
And this is, I remember we had a discussion about that, and I think, I'm just trying to see the point that you're trying to make. Really.
Well, I think the letter will speak for itself.
No, which I'm trying to get you away from the letter, just the dialogue.
Well, you know, I spent a long time writing this letter.
No, but
and it basically addresses exactly what we're talking about.
No,
here.
What I'm trying to get from you is the issue here that you're trying to get at.
I believe
can understand.
I'm getting to it as articulately and succinctly as I can. That's what I do when I write. I apologize. It's awkward that I'm reading a letter. I wish I could be spontaneous, but I think I summed it up here. I will try to skip things that are not...
No, because what I'm trying to get is that these are some of the points that you had brought up before about...
Okay, we were talking about investigation.
Exactly.
Investigation of the candidates.
Correct.
That's certainly an important aspect of this conversation. Here is a letter to every single one of the members of that commission saying, hey, not only is one of the potential nominees engaged in improprieties, but he is engaged with them on the behalf of one of the people on your committee. In other words, your committee is corrupt, And here's the proof, here's the evidence. And I go on to describe that.
This is the Judicial Nominating Committee.
Yes, forgive me if I misspoke, the Judicial Nomination Commission and Committee. And what I go on to show is that Judge Lippman was advised over and over and over again about an impropriety of a certain lawyer, and I won't go into the details of that because I spent my time last time, and it turns out that that lawyer is a partner of one of the people on, a guy named Gerald Lefcourt, who's not, among other things, is the premier mob lawyer in New York State.
Wow.
So if you're talking about the chief judge doing favors, or apparently doing favors, somebody call me up, somebody say, what do you got? I've got tape recordings, I've got letters, I've got documents, I've got as much evidence as you could possibly want showing that Judge Lippman, uncontestably, did favors for a member of that committee by, indirectly I will admit, but through his partner. When I say a partner, I'm not talking about Simpson and Thatcher. I'm talking about a four-man firm, three of whom are mob lawyers, exclusively. And I'm talking about one of the partners was the consigliere to Joseph Bonanno. Fresh out of law school, he went not to Simpson and Thatcher, but to Joseph Bonanno to stand by him and get him out of trouble. So
Guess the pay was good.
I'm sure the pay was great, and they got accustomed to that style of life, apparently. Gerald Lefcourt was a famous civil rights lawyer in his time, and somehow he went to the dark side of the force. He's now representing Gotti and all the rest. So, what response do I get from these people at the Commission on Judicial Nomination? Do I get an, oh my goodness, we're shocked, shocked? No, nothing like that. I get one response, and that's from Mr. Frederick Brewington, the only member who was appointed by Governor Patterson, except possibly Kay, I guess, at this point. And Brewington, I have the quote, if I had more time, I would present it as an audio clip. He leaves a message on my telephone machine from Frederick Brewington saying, do not send me any more information about this matter. I am shredding the letter that you sent me. That is this letter. And you can have his voice analyzed by the FBI or anybody you want. That's him. The reason he left it on my machine and didn't write me a letter is because, as clever a fellow as he is, he probably didn't think I would retain or re-record a message on my digital machine, but I did. And that's the sole response. Nothing from the heads of the legal counsel, nothing from Lefcourt himself, and I'm talking about a conflict of interest. I'm saying, are you going to put in Judge Lippman because he did favors? I'll spell it out. Because he does favors for they're co-owners of a townhouse. That's how close Gerald Lefcourt and Leon Friedman, the man I made the complaint about. Now the judge, that gets me to the next document, and I'm glad you shortened this because it's a long letter, but anybody who's interested, there's 10 copies here, and I'll make as many as you like. The next document I have is a complaint against Jonathan Lippman to the Commission on Judicial Conduct.
Is that for today or is that for Monday?
No, this is for today.
Okay.
Because it was the responsibility, if the Commission on Judicial Nomination, I'm sorry, so many commissions and committees. If there's one responsibility of the Commission on Judicial Conduct, it would be to inform you, for example, and your colleagues, that there is a pending complaint against one of the nominees. Now, granted, I didn't get it in time before they nominated the guy, so I give them some slack on that. But when Mr. Bob Tembekian, in I think one of the great inappropriate acts of all time, was standing there cheering Judge Lippman as he became and giggling while Elena Sassauer spoke, when Bob Tembekian was right there and the committee, and your committee, the subcommittee, was having a public hearing, and your responsibilities are to have a public hearing, collect evidence, investigate the evidence, and report the results of that investigation to the full Senate, none of which respectfully happened. I crashed the party. I was not expected to be there, as was Elena. And other than that, there were 60 or 70 of Judge Lippman's buddies, including Bob Tembekian, who should not have been there. That's like the head of the FBI being at a mafia wedding. It's a celebration of a judge, and this man's sole purpose in life, as far as his civic duty, is to make sure that judges do the right thing, not to go celebrate and cheer them on. So anyway, I send this. Bob Tembekian should have said, "Excuse me, I got this thing pending. Before you take anything to the full Senate, I want you to read this from top to bottom." And what I did is I said, "Excuse me, the 20 senators, however many were there," I said, "How many of you have read this? Because I sent it to you 2 weeks ago." And they jumped up as if I had pulled out an Uzi. And they jumped up and said, "We don't have to tell you that. It's on tape. It's on YouTube. We don't have to tell you that. We don't have to tell you whether we received this 2 weeks ago or not." That's for tomorrow. That's for Monday. But as far as this goes, this is a complaint, nicely written, very succinct, cites chapter and verse of the law, and says that Judge Jonathan Lippman broke the law on numerous occasions. If Bob Tembekian is not required to go to you guys, or to both you and the Commission on Judicial Nomination, and say, "Stop the party! This just in, breaking news. Some idiot named William Galison has a complaint about this guy, but we can't know whether it's valid or not until we investigate it, because unfortunately we live in this stupid democracy with laws and stuff." And that's what he should have done when he saw this. What he did is he kept it from you, pardon me, he kept it from you, and 1 week ago, probably in anticipation of this very meeting, he sent me a letter saying, "We have dismissed without investigation."
Wow.
So, you know what, on Monday, quite sure you'll be there. Mr. Tembekian will be there,
Good.
and you can ask him that question.
Very
I sure
good.
will.
Wow.
Thank you very, very much. Not easy life.
You have a copy of the letter you read, sir?
I'm going to get. I
Okay,
have,
we need to get a copy.
I'm going to get. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's powerful, my brother. Jesus, I can't believe this.
We have one witness left,
Let me
Mr.
just take it on its way.
May I take that time, please? I really need to provide some context for what Mr. Galison said.
I'll see if he's on his way, if not, I'll testify.
Okay.
We can make use of the time.
I'm going to make you more copies, okay?
That's out.
Yes.